just got back from Reno. My roommate Adam is out of town, so I had my neighbor, lovely little girl, watch Chauncey because he's a needy guy, and naturally she left the key inside my house so I couldn't get in. So last night I had to call a locksmith, and I got in my house, paid them $60, and chalked it up to stupidity. Then I said, you know what, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. So I go out to get some food, lock the door from the inside, and I forgot to get the fucking key inside. So now I've locked myself out twice. So then I went to Starbucks and I waited for the second locksmith to come. So now I'm heading back to my fucking house to fucking pay someone another $60 to let me in my house. Oh, look at that, they're here. What's up, y'all? Marle's here. Well, last weekend I was in Reno, Nevada, the third wonder of the world, at my favorite casino, one of them, Peppermill Hotel and Casino. It is the best. It's gonna be probably a 3-part series because I played 3 days
But I saw that 200
on stream. I'm actually gonna start with day 2 because this is the day I got crushed. Quadruple straddle is on 10:25. It is an uncapped game. I bought it for $5,000. We were doing $100 bomb pots every 30 minutes, as well as we are playing, instead of the 7 deuce game, they do 3 deuce in Reno. So 3 deuce, aka the skinny. You're gonna see one major hand that shit really hits the fan for me. So without further ado, here is day 2 of the stream. Reno Peppermill, run it up live. All right, so this first hand I wanted to talk about was very early on in the session. I think the second orbit I picked up aces. I raise it up to 75. Dan calls in middle with queen 10 of clubs. Jason calls in the button with 5-3 suited, and Noel calls in the small blind queen jack off. Queen 10 suited, obviously pretty standard here. Jason's getting a little out of line in the button with the 5 high, but you guys know that when you're bored, never fold. So obviously Jason's a little bit bored here. Totally fine, I get that. Rule of thumb, when you're on the button, you can basically do anything you want. Nothing is that bad on the button. You can be racist, you can be sexist, you can yell slurs. If you're on the button, it's okay. No matter what you do, it's okay. When you're in the small blind, guys, nothing is really okay. And peeling with hands like queen jack off with 3 people in front of you, we take a flop of king, queen 7, 2 spades. Now I have the ace of spades. This is a great board. Want to bet for value. I only get called by Noel in the small blind.
Noel does have the jack of spades, which is a pretty key card if he continues.
Turn is a 4 of spades, and he checks to me. I could probably bet or check. I did think it over for a couple seconds. I'm more inclined to bet the ace without a spade because that needs more protection. This is going to be a common trend throughout this video that I wanted to bring up now, and that's the concept of face equity. Now, you might be familiar with face value. It is nothing like face value. How I like to decide in these spots that are very close is face equity, and what that is someone's face if you hate it or not. And a lot of times I decide that I just hate someone's face and that they look, you know, pretty annoying. You know, they think that they're, you know, I don't want to name names, but some people think that they might be, I don't know, kind of like Tom Dwan, or they think that they, I don't know, they think that they're cool because they're, you know, like 14 and they're you know, they're playing on TV, or I don't know, I don't want to name names. I think that some people might think that they because I'm just joking here. Noel's a very nice guy and I think he's fun to play with, but I am going to give him shit, and I am going to admit that I enjoy battling him, and so face equity here through the roof.
Marle's going to continue here. 420, 450 perhaps. Healthy size on such. Naya checks it back.
River is a complete brick. He checks it to me one more time, and I just have the nuts here. I assume that he should be value betting most of his 2-pair plus here, because I'm going to be checking back so often.
Now Marle's surely going to go for value here. Pretty obvious she's against 1 pair. She's going big, 650. 80% of the pot.
So I do go for a large bet to kind of polarize myself and protect my bluffs. So I do bet 650 into about 750, and he thinks it over and folds. All right, so this next hand, Jesse Sylvia, who got second in the main event, is a very good player. Opens it up in late position to 150, and I defend king queen off in the straddle. Flop is ace queen 10, 2 clubs. I have the king of clubs. I check, and he bets 200 into 335, so just about over half pot, and I call. Turn is an 8, and I check, and he bets very, very large. Probably gonna only get 2 streets of value with this hand, so better to get 2 streets on the flop and turn rather than the river, because there's more value to be had there, and let me make a egregious mistake with a hand that I have. When I call the flop, I can really only continue on turns that I improve, or if he does something like bet super small, but he's a really good player, so I don't expect him to do that too often. And yeah, that was a simple hand, but on to the next one. All right, so this next hand, we have the straddle on pretty consistently now, so it's really 10, 25, 50. Jesse opens it up under the gun with 8, 10 of diamonds. Pat Carter calls ace 9 off in the hijack. I'm in the cutoff with ace 8 of spades, and the big blind comes along as well. So we go forwards to the flop. Pre-flop, don't really do much 3-betting from the under the gun opener, especially when it's Jesse. Also, something good to keep in mind is that when you 3-bet, you should be doing it because you want to ISO that person, because you want to play a bloated pot with that person in position. So if it's somebody that you really want to target, you hate their face, you hate their body language, you want them to die, you want them to jump off a bridge, you want them to, like, you know, cry later, then if you want them to cry later, you can go ahead and 3-bet them light. And I get a pretty great flop, jack 7, 7, 2 spades. I have ace 8 of spades. Jesse c-bets, and we call.
All of a sudden we're old, and we always wonder, where'd we go? Where'd Daryl go? Is he still burning, or we don't know? Just like that star.
Call 200. What did you do for a living?
Huh?
What did you do for a living?
I was a school teacher.
Turns a 3 of diamonds, so bringing 2 flush draws, and he bombs it. Having ace 8 is pretty bad because I want him to have hands like 9, 8 of spades, 8, even 8, 10 of spades. It really isn't the best spot. If I had a hand like, I think ace, ace queen of spades, ace 5 of spades, that was probably a bit better. I think I can definitely float. I can definitely call here in the position sometimes, because ace high is going to be good sometimes, like you see it is in this instance. But I think that, like, generally I have to fold and let it go. So this next hand, we have 10, 25, 50 on. I open it up under the gun 2 with king jack off. Get 3-bet by Dan in the cutoff, I believe, to 500. I open to 150, he 3-bets to 500. So I think that my options here are pretty much 4-bet or fold. A couple of reasons why I like to 4-bet. This is a good, obviously there's some blockage going on there. We're out of position, and also stack sizes, guys. He makes it 500, so I can definitely make it about 1,700, and it'll be about 1/3 of my remaining stack. I go ahead and make it 1,700, and he quickly folds, the worst hand. And guys, 2 words for you: face equity. So like I said, we are playing the 3 deuce game. It's a $100 bounty from each player if you win. So I open it up. You can't see my cards here for some reason. I guess I can't figure out how to use the scanner, but I open it up here with 3 deuce. I do have 3 deuce. Hish, who's a friend of mine, 3-bets me 2 spots over in middle with also 3 deuce. And I think that I can just get in there with the 3 deuce and see what I can do.
About football season.
You haven't said one word.
Observing the
Wishing it was at home.
Yeah.
So flop comes 9-7-5 2 diamonds, and I check any C bets here. So I don't think that Hish is going to be 3-betting hands that hit this board too often. I think that he could definitely have the skinny 3 deuce because he's playing that game, but I think that he's going to be more weighted to a linear 3-betting strategy, which doesn't hit this board. Definitely can bet over pairs here like aces or kings to get a street of value. So that's why I decided to play it as a call, even though I do have 3 high, out of position, no pair, no draw. If he does have good hands like aces or kings, I definitely leave myself open to some good runouts, and I think I'm more likely to get folds on later streets than now. Turn is the ace of diamonds, so the flush gets there, goes check, check. I'm pretty happy about this, but I think he could have a lot of pairs with a diamond. I would rather have a straightening card come out. River's a queen, and guys, I have the nut low. So when you have the nut low, there's nowhere to go but fucking Blufftown. So I go to Blufftown here, and he obviously quickly folds the same hand, and we win the bounty of, I think, $700. So 2 thumbs up there. Got a little crazy there, guys. That was hitting the streets.
Nice.
100.
Nice, Marle.
That's mine in the file.
And there's 3. Things are heating up, people are getting a little bit crazy, and they are putting on the double straddles. Double straddles! Yeah, so we have the double straddles on. It folds me in the button, and I have king 10 off. King 10 off in the button is every girl's dream. If you're out there, you're king 10 off, holla. So I open it up. I'll open it up with king 10 off. No, I open up with king 10 off on the button. The button, everyone likes to comment that I say button and Triton. Guys, stop. Jason defends jack 8 suited in the straddle. Flop is king queen 9 2 diamonds. Turn is the biggest brick on earth. It is the deuce of clubs, I believe. And he bets. He bets 400 into 685, so pretty large.
Call 400.
The river couldn't be more of a brick. And I'm doing backflips in my head, people, because never folding.
I just knocked those chips over himself.
Next hand. So this is a very standard hand, but I wanted to put it in because I got highly unlucky, and we all like to complain about how bad we run. So before this hand, I was up quite a bit on the session, and this hand proceeded this way. Jason opened 10s in middle. Pat calls in the small blind. I am in the big with ace king of diamonds. Fist pump, slam dunk, layup, 3-bet for value. It's a great hand. Jason's also on the short side, so I'm happy to get it in. I make it 425, go on the large side because I want him to make decisions for stack. I don't want him to start calling, but I don't think he will call that often anyways. I just want to get it in. I'm out of position, and I really don't want to play post, even though you want to play ace king for its pre-flop strength. So we do get it in. He has 10s. We run it twice, and I lose both boards. I mean, it's whatever. It's a flip, and shit happens, but I think I lose I don't know, 3K or something in that hand. So now I am stuck, and I am reloading.
Yeah, and he's going to take both of them.
RIU scoop. Jason Somerville wins both runs. Unlucky for Marle.
Folds me in the hijack. I have the skinny. I raise it up. I get called by Daryl in the cutoff, Hish in the button, and then Dan in the small blind. Like I said, if you're calling with offsuit broadways, especially the worst variety in multi-way pots in the small blind, probably, I don't want to say stick to slots, but stick to slots, because flop is king, queen, six, 2 clubs. At this point with 3 deuce, I'm going 4-way here. I'm out of position to 2 people. It's just give up mode. I tried, you know, you gotta go for that bounty. You tried and you did your best, and it checks around, and the turn is a queen. It's not a bad turn for us. We could definitely have queens. I'm not stoked about it because Dan's range, especially in the small blind, should be very strong. When you're in these spots and you're going for that bounty, you really gotta fight for it. You do have that extra equity and you do have that extra stupidity. I go ahead and bet large. I think I bet pot. Daryl calls with the flush draw, and it's over to Dan, who then overcalls. And we're done. We're so done with this hand. I mentally went on vacation at this point. I don't care what the river is. Pretty much we are donezo with this hand, and sure enough, Dan does have trips here. So, alright, so this is one of the more funky hands of the night. Things got a little bit weird. Noelle opens it up in late position to 75. Pat calls in the small blind, and I am in the big blind with ace-7 off. And it's a little bit loose, but I come along. Flop is 10-7-6 rainbow, and Pat decides to lead here for 3/4 pot. It's an interesting spot because I have seen, at this point I've played with Pat for a couple days, and he tends to lead more middling strength hands. I really haven't seen him. He does do a lot of leading on the flop, and from what I've seen, it's been a lot of middling hands. My hand is okay. I mean, I kind of do have to call one here with middle pair top kicker. But I decided to raise and ISO him and not kind of let Noelle in behind me. Noelle can raise behind, and then I'm in a really shitty situation. He really can't do anything behind without the very stone top of his range. Even if he has overpairs, he's not happy. So I decided to raise it up and ISO Pat, so I make it 600. Noelle does think it over and folds, and Pat quickly calls. Turn is a 5. Interesting card here, and he leads again into me for like 85% pot. I don't know, but at the end of the day, I should have just dumped this at this point for sure. The flop is okay. Once I get called though, I think that he does have a decent hand, so I should probably just shut it down unless I improve. But I decided to get a little bit stubborn, and the river's a 9, bringing a 4-liner. So he checks, and I could bluff. I'm just never winning at showdown here. I think he just has like a ton of 2 pairs the way the hand played out, and he's just probably going to be in check call mode a lot with the hand he has. Maybe I'm seeing some folds. Even then he might hero call me. So like I said, I should have just folded on the turn here, but sometimes you get a little bit stubborn, and I definitely did in this spot. I think in hindsight, you know, just gotta live and learn. So in this hand, Pat limps in front of me. I wake up with pocket 6s and decide it's just a good spot to limp with this hand.
It's completely different and amazing.
I thought Django was better than Glorious Bastard.
Me too.
Sort of like westerns, but not in the western. Well, he went on that like spaghetti western thing, and you saw how he tied it. Yeah, I guess you're right.
6 ways to a flop pair, which is king, queen, 5, all clubs. Do have a 6 of clubs, but it's highly irrelevant. I'm ready to fucking dump this and be done with it. It checks around, and the turn is gin. It is a 6. Pat bets 200 into 300, and I clearly have to raise here for value. I make it 700, and he quickly calls.
sick river cards.
And then the
King
other
and
movie
queen,
I
a
just
5,
watched, and I hadn't
a
seen in a
6.
while is No Country for Old Men.
Boring river card club.
Okay.
I hate the ending so bad.
River is the biggest brick in the book, and I bet 2,000. I bet pretty large. I bet pot. Actually a slight overbet here, and he pretty quickly calls. Those graphics are wrong. I had more than 2,300 total. I think I had probably started the hand with like 5,000 or 6,000, so I probably had like 5,000 behind, and he covered. So I mean, pretty unlucky he didn't re-raise the turn. I don't know if he should or not, but yeah, we're on a decent chunk there. That kind of gave me some hope for this session when things were going bad, you know, and I think, oh my God, it's about to turn. My luck's about to turn. This is amazing. I cannot wait for my stream of good luck. And then this happens. This hand was very special, and I do not even need to commentate on it, and I'm just gonna let the footage speak for itself.
Call 50. Call 50. Call 50. Call 50.
Yeah, we were pretty
Without
prominent.
really being into Harry Potter, I went to Universal Studios that has that new ride.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, it was awesome.
Yeah,
And I'm not even a fan. It was still really cool.
Random in practice, I tried it. It's
Very
really
cool.
hard.
Yeah, it's really hard. Also,
This is not a
their bows
bomb
are-
pot.
that you use. Like,
You have
I
a
mean, you might have
7-way
got it,
pot.
but I think their bows are pretty garbage.
Yeah, I'm sure
like
it's
they're-
not like what if that's what you would use or whatever, but
Yeah, I mean, they sell like super high-end bows at the place. Well, the place that I went to. So we do this thing every year called the Vegas Olympics during the series.
cool.
We take
Yeah,
2 days
thanks,
off of
appreciate it.
poker, and my friend runs it. A bunch of guys go.
Thanks, man,
and
appreciate
we
it.
pick. We have like 25 different possible games or events.
Yeah,
We pick 9.
Cool, thanks, man.
Semi-randomly, and then we make teams and we all
uh,
play. Everyone puts up $1,000, and the winner gets money from the losers. And the last couple of years, archery has been one of the events.
Please, right here.
We always have like,
Thank you.
usually have like some form of like a sport, like soccer or basketball, and then we have like driving range in there. We usually get like ping pong and darts and stuff. It's really fun. Hey, thank you.
500, yeah. Call 500.
Bink.
Oh.
Double bink. That is not good for Marle.
Oh my God.
That's gross.
This is the sickest. Oh my goodness. And how can Daryl ever have Jack 10 here?
He can't.
This is for sure going in.
Yeah.
It has to be
You're-
GG Marley.
You're trying to figure out how to make it look fluffy and get in. Like, you're never ever thinking that you're beat if you got a wheel here.
Marley's
Ugh.
for sure shoving. And she's going to have to rebuy. This is such a sick run now. Marley bet.
Not like this.
Raise all in.
Call.
Oh my goodness.
So glad I didn't stay in with basically.
Sick. Yeah.
It's so unlucky.
I mean, there was nothing on there when I folded, so it wasn't like
That is an old-fashioned cooler like they used to make them.
So that's it. That was day 2 of the Peppermill Reno Run It Up live stream event, the first ever cash game live stream. We had 10 to 11,000 concurrent viewers at their peak. So they did a really good job. The production level was great. It was a huge hit, especially for someone's first stream. I could not believe that went over so well, and I hope to do that again. They're having their big Run It Up event tournament in late October. I'm going to be going to that as well. So if you're in the Reno, Tahoe, Sacramento area, definitely head up for that. It's not going to be as big of a game. It's just going to be tournaments and smaller games, and it's always just a ton of fun. I ended up losing 7,500 on this stream session. I'm not going to give my weekend totals or anything until the end. So I'm going to try to get that second vlog out to you, which will be day 1 of the stream. I figured it'd be fun to do it this way because everyone likes losing sessions better than winning ones, right? It's always less appealing when someone's just running good. So lost 7,500, but we're going to be back soon with the part 2 of this video. Stay tuned. Thanks again, as always, for staying with me and watching my vlogs. I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.